Be next, but first, we are joined by Texas Tech Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt here on 365 Sports. And Kirby, thank you so much for joining us today. This is obviously the craziest time ever in college sports, the way that everything shifted in the last couple weeks, and the Big 12 has gotten bigger. What is it like from your perspective to be sitting on the other side of it 2 years later than where you were a couple of years ago, where you woke up in the morning and went, I don't know what tomorrow is going to be?
Well, good afternoon. Appreciate you guys inviting me to be on with you today. And it's definitely changing times in college athletics, unlike anything that we've experienced, and the summer months lately seem to bring conference realignment. So I guess we're getting used to that every summer. But yeah, big things have transpired and happened within the Big 12. Different positions than where we were a couple of years ago, and there's a lot of credit to that, to Bob Bowlesby, who was able to reach out and engage with Central Florida and Houston and BYU and Cincinnati. And then, for the past year, ever since Brett Yormark has been in charge and in the commissioner's seat, it's been full tilt, right? I mean, you just got to love the perspective, the offense that he has brought to the vision, to the execution for the Big 12 Conference, and couldn't be more proud of where we sit today and excited about the future.
Well, speaking of that future, I mean, obviously the four schools that we now know will be making their way over from the Pac-12. We've been fortunate to talk to a couple of other athletic directors, Mac Rhodes, of course, Jamie Pollard as well. And, it's kind of bittersweet. You celebrate the fact that the Big 12 is welcoming in these great institutions, but you also feel for your brethren, I'm sure, as well. But just kind of how did you absorb that news, and what are your thoughts on the Big 12 expanding with those four additions from out west?
Well, I'm excited about the four additions that are joining us. You think about the media value, and at the end of the day, that's what is driving all of these decisions. And you can go back to, however far we want to in conference realignment, and you look at the value that has been brought forward with the new markets that we have. You think about the addition of Utah with the BYU-Utah rivalry. You think about Arizona State. So I'm excited about what the four Pac-12 schools are bringing to us, and at the same time, it's bittersweet to all of us who have been passionate our whole lives and careers about college sports, because things are changing, and I've come to accept that things are not going to be the way that they once were, but that's okay, because I believe that college sports and the young people that are playing are more talented than ever. The coaching is better than ever. The interest is stronger than ever. So we've got to continue to adapt to these changing circumstances, and believe leaders like Brett Yormark are the right type of people that will help us continue to shape and mold what college athletics is going to be like in the future.
At one point in time, you guys were the furthest Western school, and now there's going to be 5 schools that are further west than you guys. Now, I know everything's West Texas, as they say, right? But just geographically, what is that kind of difference for you guys, and having, the Arizona schools in somewhat close proximity, if you will, or just having that kind of Western side to Lubbock now?
Well, it's a good question. I haven't given it a whole lot of thought, but I believe that as we talk about other sports, right? Football and basketball is going to be just fine. It's the other sports that don't always go charter travel, that will travel midweek, that you want to have some proximity, and the regional proximity is not what it used to be in college athletics. And again, that's part of the changing landscape. But the fact that, we're not the westernmost school any longer, I think is great, right? It gives us more regional competition, more regional rivalries that will build over the years. And, actually it's a full circle back to the border conference days. If you go way back, Arizona was in the border conference with Texas Tech, and honestly, I'm not sure who else, but I have seen that history. So, yeah, we're excited to welcome those schools that are even further west than we are.
Kirby, I've asked a lot of ADs and presidents that we've had on the show here in the last couple of weeks this question, and I'm curious your view on it. What do you see as the future for college athletics in the realignment shuffle? And when is it time for everybody to get together and say, hey, can we all move together with a unified plan as opposed to all kind of, having to dance around what everybody's doing individually?
Yeah, I'm not sure we have enough time to talk about what the future of intercollegiate athletics is, right? I think if anybody could paint that picture for you, they would be kidding themselves. So, things continue to change. And as I tell our coaches and our department every day, we've just got to continue to maneuver the landscape that's in front of us. We've got to continue to invest and make sure that we're nimble to be able to adapt in how we make decisions and how we invest the resources that we have. And I think we all would look forward to the day when there's a unified plan. But is that in our future? Sure doesn't seem like it, right? It doesn't seem like it when, you still have all of this conference realignment taking place. It doesn't feel good in the traditional sense of things, but like we said earlier, things are changing and they're not going to be the way that they once were. So we've got to be proactive. We've got to continue to create inventory. We've got to continue to think differently outside the box, continue to build the intellectual property that is the Big 12 Conference, and to build those events and experiences that our fans are going to be excited about and the media companies are going to want to acquire and invest in.
Kirby, your alumni and boosters have kind of stepped up in this new era in a way rapidly and maybe more organized than a lot of places. I'm sure there's a lot of places that are trying to call them and go, how did you do this in Lubbock so we can do it here the way that you did it? How were they able to do that? And was that them being ahead of the curve, knowing that the rules were changing? Because you guys seem to have the kind of, I don't know if anybody has it completely down because it's ever changing, but the NIL structure down for Tech better than a lot of places do.
Well, I appreciate that question. And again, I think it comes down to, positioning, to be proactive, to be aggressive, to be able to be nimble and to change. And we at Texas Tech, we're very fortunate. As y'all have seen over the years, we've got a very passionate, a very large fan and alumni base. People across the country don't realize that Texas Tech is a university with over 40,000 students, and our alumni base is very passionate. People don't recognize fully that we're less than 2 hours away from the Permian Basin, which is producing more oil than anywhere else in our great country. So that's West Texas, that's Red Raider country, and we're very fortunate. I told somebody the other day I'm probably one of very few athletic directors in the country that's okay with paying $5 for a gallon of gas, because that turns around and helps Texas Tech and our alumni and supporters in the Permian Basin, Midland and Odessa. But it's we've had great leadership. We've had a group of donors that have come together and built the Matador Club, which is the name, image, likeness collective that is engaged with our student athletes for the community service that they perform here in our community. So, former player Cody Campbell was I call the quarterback of that initiative, and has been very careful in taking the right steps to build that, to make sure it's compliant with state of Texas law and also the interim NCAA policy. So we've had great individuals and alumni like Cody Campbell that has stepped up and taken the steps to continue to position Texas Tech for success and to continue to build the brands of the young people who come to compete at Texas Tech.
Kirby, when we talked to Mac and to Jamie Pollard, and there was a lot of just kind of circling back to realignment stuff, but now that the waters have sort of calmed, do you feel like the waters are calm now and everybody can kind of especially in the Big 12, trying to collect themselves and move forward with football season? Or is it something where you're always, awaiting? Like Jamie said, hey, the TV money, as far as we know, is dried up. There's no, rush to make any further moves. We're happy with who we've got. And, obviously things always change. But how would you kind of describe the way that you view that whole landscape? Is it time to kind of take a deep breath, or can you even do that in college athletics anymore?
I'm not sure you do that in college athletics anymore. I think we've got a lot of work in front of us. We've got to come up with how we're going to schedule, how we're going to operate within a 16-member league beginning, 12 months from now. So our time to make decisions, to work through a lot of logistical things is heavy. And we begin that starting tomorrow. We have Big 12 athletic director meetings in Dallas the next couple of days, so we'll get to work on that. But, you don't have to look far. You look out to the East Coast and the Atlantic Coast Conference, and you hear what some of those universities, presidents, board of regent members, athletic directors are saying, and you better not take your attention off of realignment, because I'm not sure it's over. Maybe it's over for the Big 12 conference as we go into this football season, but we better not lose sight of it because things are ever changing.
What did you learn most about being the spokesman for the CFP committee?
that you're never going to win on a Tuesday night when you go on to ESPN. So, we could go on with stories about, the fan bases of whoever was 5 or 6 that particular week, and the phone messages and emails and even packages delivered to your house, the things that fans would do. But that's what makes college football so great, is the passion of the fans, the interest of the fans. And man, I cannot wait less than 3 weeks away to get this season started. It brings so much anticipation and excitement across the country, but especially, as y'all know, in the state of Texas.
Does the committee's job become easier when it expands next year, because at least half of the teams that you'll be picking right off the bat, or does it get more difficult because there's more teams, and instead of 5 and 6 being mad at you, now you've got 13 through probably 18 that might have the same kind of beef?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think it'll get any easier on the committee. Like you just said, teams 13 through 16 are going to be just as disappointed as teams, 5 through 7 are currently. So, I believe the committee has done a good job. It's always going to be debatable each and every week when the rankings come out, but I know it's people of high integrity that are watching all these games and doing the very best that they can. And, it'll be interesting, and I think with some of the conference realignment, jumping back to what we just talked about, there'll probably need to be a lot more conversations about how those the selection of those 12 teams and the playoff process needs to be administered and how that's going to be approached.
Final thing from us, and we do appreciate your time, Texas Tech AD Kirby Hocutt here with us on 365 Sports. You guys are no strangers to excitement. I mean, the last few months, it seems like the level of excitement for this upcoming football season has been building. Big non-conference game, big projects ongoing, just big expectations. Just what would you describe the energy to be like right now in Lubbock, Texas, when it comes to Joey McGuire and this football team that's going to be taking the field here in a couple of weeks?
Well, the organization and a team reflects the leader, right? And y'all know Coach McGuire, and you can't compare anybody to Joey McGuire. He is special. He's unique. He's got this team believing that big things are ahead, and not just believing. The way they've committed over the course of the spring and the off season, summer months, the first part of camp here to preparing for success has been incredible. But, you've seen it. Joey McGuire comes to Lubbock, Texas. He immediately infuses so much confidence and energy and passion into not just this football program or athletics department, but into this university, into this community, into our alumni base. And, it's Joey. What he has done has been just remarkable. And there is no doubt that it's the perfect fit for Texas Tech football to have the leadership of Joey McGuire, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to lead us to great success in football. And as y'all know, nothing else is more important, and we're going to enjoy every step along the way and celebrate the good times, and just so fortunate that we have Joey McGuire at the head of this football program.
That is Kirby Hocutt, Texas Tech Director of Athletics. Kirby, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet, gentlemen. Thank y'all. Have a great day.
All right, that's Kirby Hocutt. Next, and we'll go to break really